Hey folks, I'm meteorologist Bella Grace here with your extended forecast. We are pulling in a little bit more moisture as we go into the start of the weekend. You can see over the past couple of days, we've been trying to drag in a little bit of that moisture in from our south. So that's bumping up our dew points just a little bit, but things are still staying mostly dry. It's not helping out with those drought conditions. What we really need is a good rain to come in, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get one for at least the next week. You can see wildfire danger still high across all of our Arkansas counties. That's going to be staying in place as we get more of these dry conditions. Vegetation continuing to dry out and just die, and that leads to the possibility of these wildfires. That's why we have those burn bans out for all of our Arkansas counties except for Scott County, which is exempt, but we are still seeing these burn bans really take over a lot of us, and that's leading into the next couple of weeks, or the next week at least, because we're just not looking at any relief. This high pressure that's been sitting over us doesn't seem to be moving, but there is relief for our temperatures on the horizon. That's because we've got this cold front sitting off to our north, taking its time to move south, so we'll stay warm through at least today and tomorrow, and likely most of Sunday before this front starts to really drop in and cool things down for us. That's going to make a big difference in our temperatures outside, what it's feeling like, because right now it's almost as if summer has not even left, like we're still in it. Our temperatures extremely warm. If we take a look at our records for the past, or at least for today in Fayetteville, our high is looking about 87. Now take a look at our average. 73. That's over a 15-degree difference, or just under 15 degrees difference between our average and what we're looking at. Though we're not pushing quite towards record temperatures, at least today, we are well above our average. And you can see even on the rain side, we're way below where we typically are, about 6 inches less than what we're used to seeing around this time of the year. We haven't gotten much rain, actually any rain at all this October. A few little sprinkles happened this morning, but not enough to really sit on the ground or count for much of anything. In Fort Smith, we are even warmer. Our temperatures today, our highs this afternoon, are pushing into the high 80s, and take a look at those averages. High 70s, 10-degree difference there, 11-degree difference. We are not quite at those record temperatures yet, at least for today. The reason Fort Smith and the River Valley is under a lesser area of drought, a little bit dry still, but not quite as extreme as Northwest Arkansas. Well, that's because we racked up a lot of rain a little bit earlier in the year, and that's leading to a bit of a surplus for us. So we are still about 2¼ inch above what we are typically at for this time of the year, but it's not helping us out for much longer. As we continue to stay dry, we're going to run out of those reserves, and that's going to lead to only some worsening conditions for us right here in the River Valley. We're going to see that continue into the rest of this weekend and even next week. Record temperatures are trying to make their way into the area by tomorrow. Look at these afternoon highs in the 90s for both Fayetteville and Fort Smith. Our records for this time in October, both set in 1989, 89 degrees in Fayetteville. That means we're likely to exceed those high records tomorrow, at least in Northwest Arkansas. Our record is about 92 in Fort Smith. We're sitting about 91 for our forecast high tomorrow. If we can inch up even a degree more, we'll be matching that record. We are extremely warm for this time in October. We're supposed to be cooling down, getting in the fall spirit. Halloween is right around the corner, and seems like it's going to be a pretty warm one for us, at least a sunny one. We are dealing with a little bit of wind starting to build up as we wait for our front to move in. Not super strong today or even early tomorrow morning. We are sitting around 15 miles per hour with a few southern wind gusts that are continuing to move in. Things are pretty light in the River Valley. It's not until Saturday later in the morning that we get a strong burst of wind to come in. That's about 20 miles per hour for quite a few of us. You can see Fayetteville at about 22, 23 in Siloam Springs, even spots like Poto getting up to 20, Waldron 18. We're going to get those strong wind gusts because the pressure's just changing right over our head, right? We're waiting for our cold front to come down. That's bringing an area of lower pressure. That means all of this warm air wants to head up there. We're trying to move in, so we're going to get some gusty winds, but even before that front starts to move in, we'll see them settle down throughout the middle of our Saturday, hopefully sit around 10 to 15 miles per hour at the most. But by the time the evening rolls around and that front really starts to inch a little bit closer and a little bit closer and even a little closer, we're going to see those wind gusts start to pick up a little bit more for our Saturday evening, closer to 20 miles per hour. 15 at the least. A few of us in the River Valley not even feeling that. You can see Ozark is kind of exempt from these stronger winds. Our valleys aren't getting as much of those gusty winds early tomorrow or late tomorrow evening. By Sunday, we're going to see those pick up very quickly and stay pretty high throughout the day as that front really drops through. Temperature-wise, we're going to take a little bit of a dip from our very, very warm Saturday into about 87 in Northwest Arkansas for our high on Sunday. Still very warm for us, but it is going to be just a step below what we're expecting on Saturday. Saturday seems to be our warmest day out of the bunch, but still holding on to quite a bit of that heat on Sunday. Seeing a few more of those clouds roll in as well as our front nears and drops throughout the evening. That's going to give us time to warm up in the afternoon and then get that cold air to roll in for the weekend. Let's take a look at what's happening over our head to bring that. You can see winds are going to start to shift from our northwest on Sunday. As we get that cold front to move through, we're really going to be pulling in a little bit more of that cool air, most of that coming from Kansas, Nebraska. You can see we're kind of yanking that into our area in Arkansas and Oklahoma. That's going to drop our temperatures pretty drastically, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. As we move into the start of the week, we'll continue getting those north winds to move in. Still pretty strong, but not as gusty as what we're expecting on Sunday specifically. Here's a look at why we're seeing that. Low pressure trying to drop across our northeast. That's going to be moving over the Great Lakes region and dropping south. So as it does, you can see that's pushing this high pressure system that's been really heavy over our heads, keeping things nice and clear, sunny and hot for us. It's pushing it off west. And if we can get it further away from us right here in Arkansas and Oklahoma, we'll get a little bit more of that cold air to work its way in. And that's exactly what we seem to be doing. Even as the high pressure tries to move itself east, it seems to take a little bit of a dip under us and then move over towards Georgia and the east coast. We'll get another round of some low pressure trying to drop across the U.S. later next week. You can see how that's really taking over the west. That's going to be sending in another cold front by late next week. This one we're expecting to bring in at least a few little showers. That's what we're hoping for. That'll put us back on track to see a few more of the rain, less dry air, at least here at home. We're still staying slightly above our seasonal average. Even after we drop our temperatures down pretty drastically early next week, we'll still be slightly above what we're used to as we start to inch a little bit warmer. Hopefully that second cold front will help us out a bit. We can see how that's going to bring a little bit, just a little bit of rain into our area. The coverage on that still a little bit up in the air. It's pretty far out to definitely tell where and when we're going to watch for some showers, but that cold front seems to be bringing a little bit more moisture our way, and that's a great sign for us. And even looking at this map in the later portion of October, we're expecting to see at least a little bit of rain that should help out with our drought conditions that we're really stuck with. We can take a look at our 10-day forecast as well. You can see that temperatures taking that dip on Monday, Sunday to Monday, about a 20-degree difference, slightly less than that, 20-degree difference between Saturday and Monday. 3 days, and we're going to drop significantly in those temperatures, trying to work towards the 60s on Tuesday. You can see we're getting a few clouds in for the start of next week. Those are clearing. Once again, we're going to have a dry week, but cooler for us. That's pretty nice. That's not something to complain about for now, at least. But as we get into the later week, we start to see that front try to move in, and this time bringing in some showers. About a 20 to 30% chance right now for the weekend after this one. That's a pretty far time away, so we've got plenty of time to continue heating up and feeling dry with these drought conditions. But it seems like we may have a little bit of relief on the horizon. Just a good soaking rain would really help us out for this time of the year, making things a little bit more vibrant, hopefully give a little bit of life back to our grass before the winter comes in and kills it all off. For now, we're going to be cooling down into the 70s. You can see pretty consistently mid 70s in the River Valley before warming back towards the 80s. Then that second cold front comes in later next week and brings in those lower 70s. Once again, it seems like fall will at least stick around for a little while longer. That's your extended forecast. I'm meteorologist Bella Grace.